Unit 3, we're looking at the introduction to networks and the internet. So in this section, we're going to look at the networks, understanding what the internet is, and also issues that arise out of internet usage. So to start with, a network by definition is simply a collection of computers and devices connected together. Often they are wireless via communication devices and transmission of media. So we have types of networks. We have what we call LAN, which is local area network, and we also have the WAN, which is a wide area network. So when dealing with the networks and the computer, we need to understand that computers are usually connected together to create a network that will integrate them into two key categories. We have what we call servers, and we have what we call workstations or clients. So clients, we have what we call the client computers or the workstations. These are the normal computers that people sit on at their workplace and get their works done. So when you go on a web browser, you'll be using a web client, which we often call the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator. So the URL of a web page is one when you are actually providing the address of your web server. So under computing, computers can be connected together to fall in these categories of the networks. So when you're dealing with your web browser, your client server will ask for you to create a web page. So the server saves the page back to the browser client for you to see. So when you're dealing with the servers, what are servers? These are simply special powerful computers that provide you with services to the client computers that you are working on. So these provide you with a central common file storage area where you'll be able to share hardware such as the printers, and you'll be able to control who can access and who can't have access to the network. So the services that servers also play will be in sharing the internet connections. So servers are actually built to be very reliable. This means that they are very much more expensive than normal computers. In a small work environment, one can provide these services. Even in a larger network environment, these can also provide servers for sharing the network. Now, I said we have the two types of area networks, which comprise of the LAN or the local area network, which connects a small number of computers in the relatively close geographical area, like a floor or building at your workplace. So the LAN promotes intranetworks. An intranetwork is simply a private internetwork, which usually is created by a small organization. And the content that is available inside the internet is intended only for members of the organization, like the employees. So this network is only accessible to organizational staff. The types of networks can also be what we call the MAN, the Metropolitan Area Network. This is a kind of communication infrastructure that is built between large cities. So this is epitomized by this area that we're seeing. We have the internet that connects infrastructure developed around large cities. So we also have the WAN, which is a wide area network, which connects two or more local area networks over a large geographical space. So WAN spans across geographical areas, which connects what? Local area networks. Now, I want to bring it home to as basic as you can understand. I want to bring this home So we have the LAN, which is a local area network, which is in an office space. So what connects these local area networks is the LAN, which can connect more than even 5 local area networks. So the wide area network will provide extranet. An extranet can be viewed as part of the company's extranet that can be extended to users outside the company, like the suppliers, the vendors, the partners, the customers, and other business associates. The internet. What is the internet? Internet is the worldwide collection of networks that links millions of businesses, governments, agencies, educational institutions, individuals. So when we're dealing with our internet, we're going to look at services like the Internet Service Provider, ISP. We're also looking at the Online Service Provider, or SP. We're also going to look at the Wireless Internet Service Provider. So let me break these ones down as follows. So the users of internet, number one, online communication. Online communication. Number two, software sharing. Number three, we have exchange of views on topics of common interest. Number four, the use of the internet will be posting information of general interest. Number five, product promotion. We have feedback of a product, customer support service, online journals and magazines. These are the key functions of the internet. Now, what do we mean by online communication? So the internet will enable an instant communication and connectivity across the globe. So people will exchange their messages, video calls, they will engage in real-time conversations through platforms like an email, and instant messaging apps, social media, WhatsApping, and video conferencing. The internet is also important for software sharing, because through the internet, you and I can share and distribute softwares like applications, like we can upload and make them accessible to download and purchase. This is how we buy applications online. We can also exchange views on different topics. So using online forums, WhatsApp groups, discussion boards, social media platform, they provide spaces for individuals like you and me to connect and share opinions. They were a key tool in promoting the elections that came in to change the previous government. Internet also enables posting of information of general interest. Using the internet serves as a platform for individuals, organizations, and institutions to share information and knowledge on diverse topics. The internet is also important to promote a product. The internet will offer numerous channels for businesses to promote their products, websites, and platforms. So the internet is also about giving feedback on the product. So customers will use the internet to review, to appraise, to also give feedback that the business will help give insight on customer satisfaction. The internet is also very important because it helps accommodate customer support service. So companies utilize the internet to provide customer support services by an online chat like DSTV does, to see whether they are accessing their channels that are there. The internet is also important because we can access information through journals and magazines as a host of research. Internet is very important. So this is on the aspect when we could be asked to explain the importance of the internet. Now, we have what we call the World Wide Web, WWW, which contains billions and billions of documents that we call web pages. So HTTP is a protocol. The domain name, www.nps.government. This is what we call the domain name. The path, takes you to where the folder is. Then the actual web page is what? Maybe World Life Saving. So this is how the web pages are designed. This is where we put the address bar. So the internet terminologies that we have there on top. Okay. We have the web page. We have the website. We also have what? The web browser, the web address, the hypertext transfer protocol, and surfacing. So the web page is simply a single document or file on the world wide web, which contains the text, the images, the multimedia, and other content typically written in the HTML, which is a hypertext mark language, and is displayed in the web browser. So web pages are usually interconnected through these hyperlinks that allows the users like you and me to navigate between different pages. So what is a website? A website is simply a collection of related web pages that are hosted on the web server. Now, you must understand for a layman that these web pages that are hosted on the web server and are accessible on the internet, they represent a particular organization or a business or a topic and provide information or resources to the visitors. So we have a web browser, which is simply a software which allows you to access the web pages. So we have different types of web browsers. Most people use Google Chrome, there's Mozilla, there's Edge, there's Safari, or Opera. All these are web browsers which help interpret the HTML. So they decode to a very readable file. The web address, which is also known as the URL, Uniform Resource Locator, is simply a unique identifier that specifies the location of the web page or resource that is on the internet. So this consists of several components, including the protocol, like the HTTP or HTTPS. It also has a domain name, for instance, www.classtutioncenter.com. You find all my resources there. It also has a path and a specific name, which is /about, or we also have the hypertext transfer protocol, HTTPT. This is a tool which we use when we are transmitting or receiving data over the internet. The HTTPT actually defines how the web browsers and the web servers communicate and exchange information. It is this same HTTP which enables the transfer of web pages and images. Without it, we cannot transfer these resources between you and me. Then we also have what is called surfing. Surfing is simply a technological term that we use when we are navigating around different browsers. It also enables us to move from one page to another following the hyperlinks. So this web surfing allows users to discover new information. That's what we call surfing. All right. So broken them down. So the web page is simply an electronic web page. A website is a collection of interactive web pages. www is simply a collection of electronic documents. The search engine is a program that is used to find the information on the www and also display them into results. But we also have networks on the internet. So the web browser uses a search engine to retrieve the information. So we have engines like Google, Bing, Dark, Baidu, and the other ones that I explained. Okay, Edge, Safari. So these are search engines. So the web address is simply a location online. So hypertext transfer protocol is simply an application, a tool for distributed collective hypermedia. Surfing is simply going from one page to another without an explicit target. So internet browsing is reading something you desire. So these are some of the terminologies that you need to understand. Okay. So in my own language, if you are going to expand on these, so this is how I could break them down. So you need, for exam purposes, to understand each of these. I've explained all this in my pamphlet. So for purposes of the exam, find time to get my pamphlet and understand each of what I've explained there. Are there any questions at this point before I proceed?
Not really. I think we can proceed.
All right, okay. So we continue.
Yes, we can continue.
All right. So we now go to other terminologies we need to understand. So the internet activities that we have, like research, education, business. So when you conduct business activities online, you are participating in what we call electronic commerce. So we have e-commerce, which comes in terms of business to consumer, business, consumer to consumer, and also business to business. So we've heard of these ones specifically, and maybe we expand them. What is meant by business to consumer, consumer to consumer, and business to business? So when you're dealing with business to consumer or B2C, we're basically looking at a business model where businesses sell products and services or information directly to individuals or consumers. So this one is a model that acts as a seller and the consumer are end users. So B2C transactions typically will occur using various channels such as online stores, physical retail outlets, direct mail, and telemarketing. So examples of B2C companies include e-commerce platforms like Amazon, eBay. And we also have C2C, which is consumer to consumer. These are business models where individuals will engage in transactions with each other. It allows consumers to both be buyers and sellers at the same time using an online platform like eBay, where services involve peer-to-peer transactions, which are facilitated by platforms, of course, that will enable there's a control measure to avoid people stealing from one another. So sharing of economy platforms like Airbnb, we have C2C transactions that include selling secondhand items, offering them on freelance services. So C2C models will empower individuals to monetize their resources and skills, and these are important. We also have B2B businesses, which is a business model that sells products and services. Solution in these models, we have customers other than businesses or organizations rather than individuals. So B2B transactions usually occur in various industries, including manufacturing, wholesale, professional services. When you're dealing with B2B transactions, we look at transactions that include software companies selling a product to a corporation or a supplier providing raw materials to a manufacturing company, etc. So these business models cater for distinct markets and require specific strategies to meet the needs. So these are some of the platforms that you need to be aware of. So these platforms are there on the web. So when you're searching the web, we have the following steps. Step 1, you need to to search the engine on the website, e.g. google.com. Step 2, you need to enter the web page displayed and search what you're looking for. So we have the address bar, we have the search engine, you search what you're looking for, you go to Google or Google Scholar when you're doing research. Step 3, you need to click the Google button. When the results display, you scroll through the links and read the description and point to the Aspen. Then there you can display what you're looking for. So I'm sure you know how to go about this, except that for exam purposes, you have a certain format that you need to follow. So when searching into the web, you have to look at these important elements. So what are the disadvantages of the internet? Can somebody expand on what I've put there? What are the disadvantages?
I think the disadvantage is like you've put there, theft of personal information. Usually maybe your information can be stolen and be used by other people. And then also, I don't know about spam. Yeah, I think this is where, isn't it? I think you receive anonymous messages or texts or emails which you don't really know. And sometimes when you enter into them, maybe they even have viruses and stuff.
Excellent, exactly. So there are several disadvantages, like you said. There's theft of personal information. Right now, Zikta is promoting cyber awareness. So theft, the internet will expose your personal resources from being stolen. We've heard of an account on Facebook being hacked, and people are now exploiting others due to illiteracy on the computer. They will hack into your system, get unauthorized access to sensitive data, including financial information, passwords, and personal details. Then they can use this to what we call identity theft, where they commit financial crimes on your behalf using malicious activities. There's spamming, which refers to an unsolicited or unwanted bulk messages that you received via your email to a huge number of recipients. So spamming using the internet facilitates spread of spam, which can through your emails, social media accounts, and other platforms, bring in irrelevant, disruptive content that may disrupt communication channel, and also can be used to distribute viruses or malware, we call them, or scams. So also disadvantage of the internet is the malicious code. So the internet is a breeding ground for various types of malicious code, such as viruses, Trojans, worms. These malicious code can infect computers and compromise the data. It may disrupt the system. It can also spread through infected websites like emails, malicious downloads that could also engineer social technicalities, posing significant risks to individuals, businesses, even the infrastructure may make it critical for the organization. Social isolation, obesity, and depression. So excessive use of the internet and social media can also contribute to social isolation, as individuals will spend more time on these interactions rather than face-to-face communication. It disrupts also family time. I've seen sometimes when you're in the home, the wife is on the computer, you lack that connection with the real world. And additionally, you become addicted to the internet, and you will, it may also lead to obesity and some health conditions. because you heavily rely on the internet interactions, then you may also have negative exposure to certain negative contents that may bring health hazards, in the sense that people will be addicted to unpalatable material, and also may bring about cyberbullying. You know how our artists in the country have almost everyone is on the internet. Information overload and misinformation through the internet may also be overwhelming and can lead to information overload, which may also result in what we call distortion of reliable and accurate news. So the president of Zambia has been warning abuse of internet because there's a lot of misinformation, fake and manipulated content on the internet that has led to negative impact on decision making in the public, thereby creating societal mistrust. And also privacy concerns. We've seen how recordings have been gone viral, where personal data is collected, it is tracked, it is unleashed in various media platforms, and also breaches confidence. And also people want to monetize personal information, which will raise questions on authenticity of certain people. It also impedes on people's privacy. So these are the disadvantages that the internet may have. Are you together? All right. So
Yes.
regarding computer viruses and other malware, what is a computer virus? This is a malicious program that replicates itself. A worm is a malicious program that replicates itself but does not attach itself to an existing program. A Trojan horse is a non-replicating malicious program that only activates when triggered. We have what we call a rootkit, which is a stealthy polymorphic malicious program. So we also have an antivirus, simply a program that protects a computer against various viruses by identifying and also removing them from the computer if found in the memory, in the storage media, or in any files. We should also understand that there are a few tips that we have for preventing viruses or malware. Number one, you never start the computer with a removable media inserted unless we have disinfected it or scanned it. Never open an email unless you're expecting it or it's a trusted source. You should also set macro security programs that will enable or disable macros. Enable that macros only if the document is a trusted source. You also need to install an antivirus on your computer, like the Windows has a Defender, which it comes with. You just need to update the software so the antivirus the files are checked regularly. You need to scan all the documents for viruses and other malware. If the antivirus or program flags an email attachment which is infected, delete or quarantine it immediately. Before using any removable media, make sure that you scan them off and follow the steps, shrink them, and also communicate with the developers. Some commercial software can be infected and distributed to unsuspected users. Always install personal firewall programs that will protect your computer, and also stay informed about the new alerts of the viruses and also virus hoaxes. So in summary, we've talked about the networks, that they are interconnected computers that share a resource. An internet is a worldwide connection of computers. The uses of computers vary for research, for entertainment, for business, and the different types of internet networks. So we've talked about the different types of attacks and how to protect against them. This is how this unit can be done. So we're going to look at how the exam questions come at this point. All right. So
Sure.
let's go through question number 1B. What is the difference between a local area network and a wide area network. What is the difference between a local area network and a wide area network? So a local area network, which we call LAN, and a wide area network, which we call WAN, are different in geographical area coverage, in that they cover and the types of connections they use. So here are some of the key differences that you may wish to know. Number one, in terms of the geographical area. So LAN covers a relatively small geographical area like a home, office, or building. School is confined in a limited physical place, whereas WAN covers a huge geographical area. All right. So WAN is wider, LAN is narrower. So let me just spread the differences from what we're learning through. So this is all in the pamphlet. So LAN covers relatively small area. WAN covers a much larger area. Then in terms of coverage and connectivity, you can say LAN, the devices are connected within a confined area, and usually through a wired connections like the Ethernet, the cables, the Wi-Fi, the devices, and directly communicate with each other at very high speed, whereas WAN connects multiple LANs in other area networks in long distances, and therefore these ones can use fiber optic networks, the wireless connections, so it relies on routers and other networking devices to be connected at different areas. So the speed, LAN is faster. The bandwidth is larger compared to WANs because the LANs operate in a small area, allowing faster flow. Whereas when you're dealing with WAN, we're looking at speeds that have a limited bandwidth due to the challenges of the long distance, so data can kind of be congested and a little bit slower. When we're dealing with ownership and control and the cost complexities. So what is the cost implication between the two? So we can say the following. Number one, you can say ownership. When you're dealing with LAN, it's privately owned or a single organization, whereas WAN, multiple organizations may own it, providing collaborations to maintaining the infrastructure because it is costly. So when dealing with LAN, it is cheaper and less expensive. WAN is complex and costly to deploy. So in overall, we must understand that LAN is localized, whereas WAN is generalized. It's a general geographical landscape. Are we together? So that is a question to do with
Yes, we are together.
the difference between the local and the wide area. This is 4 marks. So I'm trying to give information in a wider spectrum. Okay, so I'm just looking at questions that relate to what we've covered so far. All right. So what is the difference between a client and a server computer? What is the difference between a client and a server computer? So I think this is what I started with. We've explained. So the main difference lies in the roles and responsibilities within the network environment. So we're going to look at it in terms of function and purpose. So a client computer is simply also known as a workstation or an end user device, which is usually used by an individual. When you go to the office, you access and utilize the resources. So it's primarily focused on running the applications, accessing data, and performing tasks on the user end. Examples of client computers include your personal computers, the laptops, the tablets, the smartphones. Server computers, on the other hand, are designed to provide services and resources to the client computers. So Let me just share with you what I have in the pamphlet so that you could relate and read. Okay. So the points I put are more than what the examiner asked for. So you can choose to select what you feel is relevant to you. Okay. So I was explaining to say the first difference was on the functionality and the purpose. The second one is on the processing power and the resources. So client computers are usually optimized for individual user tasks. They have a good balance of power saving, memory, and storage, whereas the server are typically more robust. They're equipped with higher processing power, memory, and also working and network connectivity. So they're designed for heavy workloads. And the other difference is in terms of data resource management. So in terms of data resource management, the client computer is primarily for storing and managing local data for applications to the individual user, whereas client computers are used to store and manage centralized data, which is used for multiple clients. The dependency. So client computers mainly rely on network connectivity to access resources, whereas server computers are always on and provide services to clients continuously. So they provide a reliable network connection that will enable the client's access and utilize the resources. So in summary, you must understand that client computers are used by individuals to access and utilize the network, where server provide data that will manage resources on behalf of for clients. So clients focus on tasks and applications, while servers handle centralized data. So this is what the examiner was trying just in the 4 marks. All right. So what are the 5 factors that you would actually, we looked at this, the difference between a web browser and a search engine. Okay. What are 5 factors you could undertake to protect your computer from malicious programs and viruses? So that was the last slide. You can install an antivirus. All right. You regularly update it. You exercise caution when opening emails. You enable you practice safe browsing habits. You educate yourself about common techniques. You use secure, reliable internet connections. You create strong, unique passcodes. Okay, so this is how we ensure we protect our computers from malware. So the others are just here that we're just looking at. So we never start a computer before checking, disinfecting the devices. We should never open email unless we're sure of it. Should install antivirus. We should scan documents. If antivirus flags uninfected, delete or quarantine it. You should use using a removable media. We should make sure that we shrink it, we scan it, we install all these I mentioned. All right. So what other questions have we left out? What's the difference between a browser and a search engine? Yeah. Who remembers? I explained all that. So a browser is simply a software application which allows users to access, to retrieve, to view information on the internet. So examples, we are looking at the www. So the main function of our browser to render web pages, rendering web pages, navigating the URL, displaying the multimedia, managing cookies. And the popular browsers we have include Chrome, Mozilla, Safari, Opera. A search engine, on the other hand, is simply what? A search engine which is specialized web-based service which enables users to find specific information on the internet. So primary functions of search engines are indexing the web content, processing the user queries, displaying search results, refining the search queries. So popular examples of search engines are Google, Bing, Yahoo, Baidu, Yandex. So these ones are search engines. So they're there in the slides that I'm just showing you. Okay, so please purchase my pamphlet. Everything is there. It will be very easy. Don't underrate this course. People fail it and they are repeating. So you will do well to maximize on your grades. So I've simplified what I could. So we are done with 3 units just today. So I should be done with this course even by tomorrow or Sunday. Then we start the other courses as well. So I hope this class has been very fruitful. We hope to do the same for the other courses so that we can quickly finish up as much. So the videos have been done for all the units we've done.